Tesla everyone and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Central Tibetan Administration. Let us look at the headlines first. His Holiness the Dalai Lama to continue virtual teachings amidst COVID-19. China warns Tibetan internet users of Strike Hard campaign. Special Coordinator Destro to make virtual visit to Dharamshala. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and CTA congratulates Speaker Pelosi on re-election. Tibetans hold preliminary election for 2021 Sikyong and Parliament members. Central Council of Tibetan Medicine observes 17th anniversary. His Holiness the Dalai Lama concluded the 3 days teaching on Heart Sutra at the request of Korean Buddhists Thursday morning. In his concluding remarks, His Holiness said that although traveling and physical meetings are restricted due to the COVID-19 pandemic, he will continue to give teachings online. Commenting on the pandemic situation, he applauded the scientists and the medical staffs for their rigorous effort in finding a treatment to the disease.
그 내염다 되게 tembe 하는 지 가소래 만도 민거 스토니한테 고강의 책이 어디네다 가다 나도 지다 심로 요동야다 심기 뒤지 줘야지 이번 이르잖아요 그 자제도네 아다는 시제도 스케시 아니 드롤링시 고두시 제그 모든 제도를 그래서 아니 그 상물로 되오셔. 양 마음벌이야. 야 안다는 시체. 양 아주 자제도네 고두시야. 근데 연구리 아니 로 되오셔. 두지체.
In a recent notice, the Chinese authorities in Tibetan Autonomous Region announced criminal prosecution against individuals who use online communication tools to engage in activities against the Chinese Communist Party. The notice dated 24th November was publicly posted on 24th December 2020, which said that the authorities would strike hard against offenders in accordance with law. The Chinese Party state, with the aim of maintaining social stability, outlawed many social media platforms and search engines such as Google, Facebook, and Twitter, which allowed for more freedom of speech and information. U.S. Special Coordinator for Tibetan Issues, Assistant Secretary Robert Destro is scheduled to make a virtual visit to Dharamshala, the seat of Central Tibetan Administration, next week. Special Coordinator Destro will meet with the President, the cabinet members of the CTA, and the Speaker and members of Tibetan Parliament in exile. Apart from the meeting, Assistant Secretary Destro will also interact with Tibetan artisans and journalists. This is the first time the Special Coordinator for Tibetan Issues, Robert Destro, is formally interacting with officials of CTA and members of Tibetan community in India since his appointment to the office in October last year. His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the CTA congratulated Nancy Pelosi on securing a 4th term as Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. In his congratulatory letter, His Holiness wrote, "I have no doubt that as Speaker of the House, you will continue to play a crucial role in advancing the hopes and aspirations of the people of the United States, while also helping to shape a more peaceful and harmonious world." CTA's President Dr. Lobsang Sangye and the Deputy Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, Acharya Yishi Pinzo, also congratulated Nancy Pelosi on her victory. The exiled Tibetan community came out in droves to vote for their next Sikyong and members of 17th Tibetan Parliament in the preliminary elections of 2021 held on the 3rd of January. Despite the ensuing challenges of the coronavirus pandemic, the preliminary round of the 2021 general elections reflected an extraordinary level of participation, most notably among the younger generation of Tibetans. Tibetan voters in the Western European countries under the Office of Tibet in Belgium, the Netherlands, France, and Spain had exercised their franchise for 2021 Sikyong and members of 17th Parliament preliminary elections despite the hardest hit of COVID-19 lockdown in some of these places. The Tibetan community in Japan actively participated in the preliminary round of election, and around 70% of the registered voters came to cast their votes. The Tibetans in Russia also hit the polling stations with high enthusiasm to cast their votes. The incumbent Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Sangye, and the members of the cabinet came out to vote that day.
Today, despite the pandemic, Tibetans in almost 40 countries are taking part in the election, and young and old all are coming out and participating in the election. So this is a momentous and historic event because even though we are in exile, even though in South Asia we are refugees, but we are exercising our fundamental right. Thereby, we are walking shoulder to shoulder with other democratic countries around the world. That the gift that His Holiness has bestowed on us is being preserved, protected, and practiced by the elder generation, and continue to do so by the younger generation, by sending a clear message to Beijing that Tibet is under occupation, but Tibetans in exile are free and given a chance, an opportunity. We prefer democracy over authoritarian system. You might repress Tibetans in Tibet. You might implement cultural assimilation, environmental destruction, social discrimination, and economic marginalization in Tibet. But no matter what you do, the pride of Tibetans, the sense of Tibet and Tibetans is to be democratic and practice democracy. So this is a message of hope to Tibetans inside Tibet who are suffering. And they want to hear what's going on outside. We want to send a very hopeful message. Yes, His Holiness has given us democracy, and we practice this fully. And that's the way Tibet should be in the future.
The Central Council of Tibetan Medicine marked its 17th founding anniversary with the inauguration of the Council's office on 5th of January 2021. The chief guest at the program, Kalyon Chogyong Wangchu of the Department of Health, inaugurated the new office of the Council at the Department of Health CTA, Kangchen Kishong. The special guest at the program, Deputy Speaker Acharya Yishi Pinzo of the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, virtually launched a book on Tibetan medicine compiled by the CCTM. That is all for today. See you next week.